All right, no champion selection, no picks and bans. Apparently we're just getting right into it. So apologies for a little bit of confusion, but we're into game number 1. Faker versus Ganked by Mob. Ganked by Mob, of course, representing the Jin Air Green Wings. We'll see if he can fly his glad plane in here. Maybe rain on Faker's SKT Telecom, or SK Telecom T1 parade. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the votes. If you have ever voted against Ganked by Mom in a matchup, there's some questions to be had about that. But as far as Faker is concerned, it's really hard to vote against the unkillable Demon King. We'll see if he actually is unkillable. Interestingly enough, not unkillable this tournament. I believe he had a loss to Samsung's 80 carry Wraith in their first round matchup in the group stages, so not impervious to dropping a game here or there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll see how things shape up. As far as the head-to-head goes for this specific matchup, Faker versus Ganked by Mom, as far as creep score goes, Ganked by Mom has played overall much longer games in lane. It has a total of 317 minions killed over the course of his 5 games played in the group stages, whereas Faker only 192 minions killed. Much less creep score, of course. That is because Faker kind of likes picking up first blood a little bit. Out of the 4 games that he won in the group stages, 3 of those were victories by first blood. Of course, one of those was a victory by tower kill. Now, kind of the mythos behind Faker here, specifically in this matchup, is that he has not lost a competitive game on LeBlanc. He has got a big 0 in that loss category. So it's going to be interesting watching him play here against Ganked by Mom's Lulu, because while this isn't necessarily a 100% serious 5v5 for a trip to worlds kind of matchup on the line, it does represent a 1v1 versus one of what was at the time a very up-and-coming mid laner in OGN. And I think after sort of proving himself as one of the better mid laners in Korea, hit some ups and downs. And specifically in this matchup right now, Ganked by Mom does actually block. With that help picks a lot of the damage that Faker is dishing out there with that level 2 combo. Sigil of no longer Silence, Sigil of Malice. I remember when they changed Sigil of Silence to Sigil of Malice, I was like, nobody's ever going to play LeBlanc again. She's done. No longer viable champion. And then, of course, Faker's just killing everybody with her, and you kind of get the idea. Able to make some good stuff happen. Already almost out of mana. Should be seeing him use that mana potion here relatively soon. Of course, after he gets done with his crystal and flash charge. Drawing that minion wave away from his turret. He's actually taking a lot of hit points in damage. Faker trying to make them fight the jungle creeps. Nobody does save them from out of range of the turret. And that is the first trip back to base by Ganked by Mom. He'll teleport back into lane, but Faker saves every single one of the minions. He's like the Pied Piper of the Solo King. He's playing his magical flute. I guess he's not a flute-based champion. You get the idea. Leading the band of his, maybe he's like Robin Hood. He's leading his band of merry minions off through Sherwood Forest or the jungle. Does lose 1 CS under turret like that, but should be able to pick up the majority of these. Even gets that one. Now only down 1 CS versus Ganked by Mom as the lane resets slightly on Faker's side of the lane. Perfect CS definitely possible, and not missing the opportunity to both CS under turret and dish out some damage at the same time. Sacrifices 1 CS for the greater good of picking up the next 2. And because this is a cannon minion wave coming into lane, it's a good time to go back because it'll take Ganked by Mom maybe a little bit longer to kill it. Faker, trip back to lane, actually picks up a, I was about to call that a Meki pendant. Rest in peace, the Season 2 itemization of my dreams. But grabs Berry Charm, heads back into lane by walking into lane because, oh wait, the summoner spells. It's Flash Ignite for Faker versus Teleport Ignite by Ganked by Mom. And that's actually not quite as terrible an itemization or a summoner spell choice as you would imagine, because LeBlanc can actually get back to lane pretty quickly off of just using Distortion. Maybe once you're level 6, you will use the Mimic Distortion. You just cover that ground a little bit more quickly and get back into lane. It does mean that he did miss quite a few CS when he went back, but he should be able to deny just a couple of them, as Ganked by Mom did not have teleport up on his return back to base. But GBM comes back with triple Doran's rings, whereas Faker is actually playing this like a regular competitive game. No Doran's rings aside from his first one. He's actually going to be building up towards some more aggressive itemization, you know, maybe going for that Morellonomicon, the Dream. We've only seen one Morellonomicon ever completed in the Solo King tournament. Just because how often do you see third tier items that cost like, I think it's like 28,000 gold, 2,800 gold? Going in on a GBM does use the help picks to stop a little bit of that damage coming back his way, but Faker for now. Didn't put that damage back out there, but oh, GBM popping those mirror images. Even hits Faker with a glitter lance through the minion wave, and Faker is in a bad way at this point. GBM much higher HP. He's got the minion wave pushing in his favor. He's up a couple of CS and even just popping that health picks down on the Faker, keeping him honest. He's got health potions running, but he's down below 200 health points. His turret's down to half HP. He's using his skills to kill minions under turret, and honestly, he's gonna miss most of those minions. Hits one, misses two. Starting to take a little bit of a CS hit. GBM really playing this lane very, very aggressively, and mostly, we've already seen 2 failures on Lulu today, so Lulu not having a good day as far as the Solo King tournament's concerned. Faker actually giving up a CS just to make sure he hits that next one. Down 3. The minion waves make their way back into lane. Now GBM at this point, he's up 2 CS, and Faker is going to have to play this lane, I don't want to say for keeps just yet. He does have that Ignite, but so does GBM, and while Gank by Mom may not be able to flash away, he does have so many defensive options, and honestly, Lulu mid was initially popularized as a pick away from that. Okay, chain does not land, ethereal or otherwise, on the Gank by Mom. Lulu came into popularity as a mid lane champion in sort of what they call the League of Assassins, not the Arrow League that is swallowing up everything Oliver Queen knows and loves, but the League of just nothing but assassin players mid lane. Turns out when you run a champion with so many defensive options that it stops that. I'm not sure why Faker was backing right there. Maybe trying to make, okay, missed GBM completely. Now Lulu gonna take a trip back to base. Oh, chain does stop it though. So Faker being extra annoying. Trying to keep Lulu from backing as long as humanly possible. Double ults the wave, hits the last CS there, and actually takes a trip back to base, not only denying CS under turret, but somehow, almost magically, he's come out with a huge CS lead. And by huge, I mean about 5 CS, which is, you know, oh no, a big deal. But it's more importantly, it represents, wait, what is Faker doing here? He's picking up triple Doran's ring and gets a little bit of CDR and mana regen off of what I can only assume to be a component of his Morellonomicon. Now the problem is that if Faker ever touches the summoning platform again, Gank by Mom is most likely going to have the ability to kill his turret. It's down below about 600-700 HP. And with as much AP as is starting to be stacked up there with those quad Doran's rings on Gank by Mom, those auto attacks are going to start to hurt. We're after the 8-minute mark, which means turret's actually, whoa, double bouncing on him. Faker going to avoid that, hits a chain off of it. Was that a Mimic? Sigil of Malice, another dodge there. Gonna go back in, force the ult out. Faker! What are you doing running circles around Gank by Mom? Of course, realizing that Lulu doesn't have a flash and he's unable to dodge really anything that Faker throws his way. Maybe a Whimsy used defensively on himself, gives him the move speed to avoid a distortion, but man, Faker just jumping everywhere. Coming back into lane with what is arguably going to be his strongest itemization this game. Coming out with not only a CS advantage, but also maybe a little bit of a sustain advantage. Keep in mind, Faker is the one with a crystalline flask, whereas Gank by Mom has bought nothing but consumables. So off of these repeated trips back to base, Faker has actually gotten himself a little bit of a gold advantage. It's not actually illustrated in the gold advantage, just off of refilling that crystalline flask over and over again. Faker seriously just used his skills to one-shot the minion wave. And of course, you cannot actually kill jungle creeps. I thought he was actually going to get, like, you know, blue buff or something. You can't kill jungle creeps. Although you can walk anywhere you want on the map as long as you don't kill anything in the jungle. Does Faker have enough gold for a Fiendish Codex? No, there's no way you'd have that much gold. He's just gonna pick up health potions and run back into lane. He knew that he had enough of a minion advantage, a CS advantage, that he could head back to base, sacrifice maybe a wait. Did Faker just no, you're kidding. Wait, what? All right, well, that's Ganked by Mom, winning game number 1 versus Faker off of a turret kill.